Ended in smiles in the end. It's an interesting management technique in front of the world, that, isn't it? But
no,
you've
I
used
love
it before.
I love
I know
it.
you would, yeah.
No, I love it because it shows passion. It shows that probably he's telling him, yeah, you're going to score one more, make it a hat-trick. And I agree with Alan. I think they were talking exactly about that, how the first chance he go for power, and the second, maybe he learned from the first one, and then he goes just a bit for precision. But overall, I mean, second half was a masterclass from City.
11 Premier League goals already this season for Erling Haaland. They were the first strikes in the Premier League at Old Trafford. Another little milestone for him as well. So we had 5 games on the menu today after the 4 yesterday, and of course it all began with Spurs' win on Friday night. That followed 3 points for Brentford, Arsenal and Bournemouth earlier today. Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal was enough for Everton to get a big win away at West Ham. Aston Villa, 12 home league wins in a row. 3-1 against Luton. Brighton still haven't beaten Fulham in the Premier League. They were pegged back. 1-1 João Palhinha's equaliser. No problems for Liverpool against Nottingham Forest. 3 goals and another 3 points. And 3-0 the scoreline again in favour of City against United. Manchester is blue for the 7th time in the last 9 Manchester derbies. So, another defeat for Luton leaves them still in the drop zone where they began the day, a point behind Bournemouth, who, of course, got their first win of the weekend, beating second from bottom Burnley. Everton moved level on points with Nottingham Forest, and they've now got a 5-point buffer between themselves and the bottom 3. Manchester City are the movers, level on points with Arsenal on 24, 2 off the leaders. Spurs, Liverpool are just a point back. And then a point behind Jurgen Klopp's side are Aston Villa into the top 5. Manchester United, as we've mentioned, stay 8 points off the top 4 and 11 off the league leaders.
Talk about City in the past. A lot of people have talked about they can be quite boring to watch, but we're watching some of the best football the Premier League has ever seen. Normally we get that sort of performance at home, you know, the confidence, the crowd behind you, but to do it away from home. John Stones' position, and we've talked about it so much when it comes from defence into midfield, and then Carrie mentioned it with the United midfielders trying to go man-to-man, and it just leaves loads of space for Bernardo Silva, then Alvarez to get in the pockets. Guavio playing, he's a centre-half playing left-back. Like Gary said in commentary, he was like Maldini, every opportunity to go forward, the weight of his passing, and you've got Haaland up front to finish it all off. And I just thought it was an outstanding performance from start to finish. Man United started quite well, but after that it was totally dominant.
Yeah, we'll have lots to say about Haaland. Let's hear what he has to say. He and Bernardo Silva are with Patrick Davison.
Played Erling, Man City's match winner at Old Trafford. How does that sound?
Yeah, amazing. Fantastic win, and yeah, the game was incredible today, the whole team and everything, and especially this guy as well. Impressive today.
Thank you. Yeah. I told you before the interview, you impressed Gary Neville. You've impressed Erling Haaland as well, obviously.
Yeah, it was a good game for us. I think apart from a few simple balls that we lost, we didn't give them much to counter, and the way we controlled the game, especially beginning of the first 30 minutes of the second half, I think we were really good, and the way we pressed. What we lacked against Arsenal, in my opinion, today, we were fabulous, and so happy because it's not easy to play here at Old Trafford. And congratulations to the big man as well for the 2 goals and the assist.
Just look, maybe the first 6-7 minutes were a bit tricky. So what role do you have then in getting Man City to control the match?
Well, when we come to these kind of places, for example Anfield, for example Old Trafford, we know what teams are waiting for. They're waiting for us to lose the ball and to counter. So it's all about the build-up and not losing simple balls, controlling the game, and be slow in the first meters of our half, in the goal kicks and in our half of the pitch. And then when we break through, be quick and attack. And that's what we did really well in the second half. And so happy with the performance, so happy with the 3 points, because it's, as I said, it's never easy to come here to Old Trafford and to beat this team.
So Erling, as we said, 2 goals and an assist. I was slightly surprised you squared the last one for Phil. Any thoughts of banging it in for the hat-trick?
No, I saw Phil was alone, so simple as that.
Yeah. And how did you feel stood over that penalty first half?
Yeah, of course, I felt it a little bit. A lot of people were singing to me, Kino, I don't know why, but it's what it is. So I had the pressure and I scored, so it was a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, it looked like a real guttural roar with that celebration.
Yeah, it was a nice celebration, both of them. I have a bit pain in my knees, to be honest, after the assist from Bernardo, but it was a nice game.
And the header in the second half, you'd had one very similar first half. Was that what you were chatting with the manager about as you came off at the end there?
Yeah, it was an incredible save, to be honest, right before the half time. And he also had a fantastic save in second half. I chipped it and I think he saved it with his head. Yeah. It is what it is. We won. I don't care.
So you've been part of some really dominant Man City performances here. Was that up there with the best?
Yeah, definitely one of the best, because as I said, especially when you play away, and at home it's always a bit easier because the crowd is with us, they get us in our momentum, they create the momentum and the energy for us. So, but to win here 3-0 away with this crowd, I think it's one of the best performances that we did in the past, yeah.
Okay, so normally it feels like you get these, Erling, but player of the match today is Bernardo Silva. So would you mind?
I totally agree.
Thank you.
Here you are, mate.
Thank you very much.
A nice cuddle.
I love you. Just like Pep does.
Talks a lot more than he did in his Dortmund days, where he really was not keen to be interviewed. But look, you see the focus in him. You see that determination. You know, as long as it works, as long as we get the goal, I don't care.
I think it's just his movement as well. If you look at his second goal today, the way how everyone's at the front post and he just hangs out back. Yes, his all-round play can still improve. He's still only young, but it's just devastating in front of goal. We mentioned before, in the Champions League, he's not scored for a while, but in the Premier League, he's just unstoppable. Absolutely unbelievable striker. Imagine winning the treble in your first season. You can't do any wrong at this moment in time.
Player of the match, though, went to Bernardo Silva. Was that just a sign of how City managed to control the game?
Yeah, they caused Manchester United a lot of problems down United's right, and I was actually surprised Eriksen didn't come off at half-time rather than Amrabat, and just the way Manchester United set up the man-mark in midfield, so the spaces between the two players, because Bernardo Silva really stretched Eriksen on that side, continue making those runs that we always associate with David Silva. He used to always make those runs from that inside left position. So, yeah, he's been an outstanding player, and the funny thing with it, it just feels like every summer there's always talk that he might go. You know, but you know how desperate City are to keep him, because I think any team in world football would love to have him, and he's been one of the best, I think, signings Pep's made in his time. Yeah, as Erling Haaland said, Pep just loves him, as he said at the end of the game. Look, we'll talk about it from a Manchester United point of view shortly, but from I know you're not a neutral, but from a neutral point of view, do you have to just admire what City can do?
Yeah, the key for me for Man City, particularly over the last few seasons, as brilliant as they are, and having won 3 trophies last year, is will they keep that hunger and desire? They've got brilliant players, and what you saw today, particularly towards the end of the game, players running back, outnumber Man United, not wanting to obviously give any goals away. You saw everything you want to see in the team today. Pep must be delighted. Okay, they had a sticky patch maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago when they were missing 1 or 2 players, particularly when Rodri was out of the team. We know he's a big player for him, but once again, it's such an important message for these players to send to anybody watching football. Is you can have all the skill, you can have all the talent, which they have, but if you've got that hunger and desire like they have, they're going to take some stopping. Very, very difficult to stop them when they're in that mood.
The game itself potentially turned, or certainly was made more straightforward from City's point of view by the awarding of the penalty and the scoring of the penalty. Did you have any issue with that decision?
No, none whatsoever. Obviously, listen, we'll use the word, it's a soft penalty, yeah, but it was a penalty. Once you give the referee an opportunity, or obviously VAR, to have a look at it, you're in trouble. Listen, Rodri's done well, he's made the most of it, but again, a striker getting the wrong position, obviously blocks going on, which you know, but as soon as you do that, you know they're going to have a look at it. And again, Rodri's clever. No, I have no issues with the penalty. And of course, the first goal is always going to be important in any big game. But after that, City just controlled the game. But I do agree. I think it was a penalty. It's a soft penalty, but still a penalty.
Micah?
Yeah, agreed. I think Roy's nail on the head. We talked about it before. I mean, as a defender, let's say, right, we don't want to be seeing these given because we feel like these happen every week. But it was sort of like, where was he going to end up? If he didn't drag him back there, would he have got a head on it? So it is a foul.
Cara?
Yeah, same as what I said at half-time. I thought it was soft. You'll see a lot of those could be given in lots of games. So I thought it was a little bit harsh on United. But you can't, when you watch it, certainly in slow motion, say it's not a foul, but we see it so often now.
Mike Dean joins us from the gantry to just try and clear up if anybody's watching and wondering why the game went on for quite a while after that before it was stopped and they went back and looked at it. Mike, just let us know what the VAR will be looking at in that situation. What are the criteria for awarding that penalty?
Yeah, I think Michael's had a good look at it to start with, and then he's got to take one or two things into consideration. Whether Rodri tripped himself on the way down as well, which is always a possibility, to try and make the foul look even worse than what it may have been. But you've got to get one or two angles. And in a big game like this, you'd rather take your time and get the best angle possible, get to the right decision in the end. And I think the longer it went on, we could hear Michael saying in the VAR hub saying, just still checking, still checking. The check goes on, it's more than likely you're going to be sent to the screen to have another look at it. And in the end, I think, in my opinion, he definitely come to the right decision. Even though it's soft, he's made the match officials make a decision on the pitch. And I think for where Paul was looking at it, tough to pick up because with the dropping zone. But I think where the ball is dropping and Rodri's attacking that dropping zone, that also comes into consideration. The dropping zone area, we had one in the second half in the 60th minute with Haaland and Maguire on the edge of the box when the ball's nowhere near him. So that doesn't even tick any boxes for criteria. But good decision by the VAR and a good intervention.
Mike, just clear that up for us about where the ball ends up. Is that something that's factored in?
Yeah, I mean, the ball's going to go over everybody's head by 10 or 15 yards. Although it's a foul, it's not going to do. There's no consequence whatsoever for the decision making by the referee and the on-field referee and the VAR. But because in the dropping zone where Rodri's going to attack it, it has to come into consideration. It's a silly challenge by Haaland. Probably doesn't need to make it because whether Rodri got it we don't know, but the Manchester United defenders cleared it anyway, so it's just a poor call. He's made a lot of it, Rodri, but you can't blame him in that situation. But don't give any match officials any decisions to make, and Paul couldn't see it, the VAR got involved and made the correct decision in my opinion.
Mike, thanks very much for joining us.
And it did, and particularly in that second half it was total domination. As you can see, 21 Manchester City shots to United 7, 10 of those on target, almost 3 times as many touches in the box, and a 61% possession for the away team. They actually covered more ground as well. I just wonder, Berber, as an ex-Manchester United player, how difficult at times it was to watch that second half with the difference in quality that we were seeing.
Especially when City know how to control the ball. And as a striker, I don't know what you think, but if you play in that game and they just control the ball and you're running behind the ball all the time, you're going to hate that. You're going to hate that. You're going to get angry. You're going to want to tackle someone or kick someone like we saw in the end of the game because it's out of frustration. You have nothing to do and you know it, and that makes you angry. And it's painful to watch because when City go 1-0, it's difficult enough to catch to them. But when you go 2 or 3, then it's almost impossible. And then take the ball, pass, and you have nothing to do. You just run behind the ball.
They can do that, Man City, to any team in the world when they go 2-0 up, just because of how comfortable every single player is on the football pitch, including the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is one of the best passers in their team, by the way. So they can do that to any team, but they're doing it to their neighbours. They're doing it to a football club that has been used to and had huge success over a number of years and is desperate to have it get back. But they're a while away. They're a long way from having it back. Whilst Pep is dominating and pulling the strings and managing Manchester City, Man United will be a long way behind Manchester City. And that's what hurts them the most because it's their close neighbours who have had so much success over the years. And it hurts more.
And does it make it more sweeter on the other side of the story? When you're at Old Trafford and when you were at Manchester City and Berber's teams, United were dominating, when they're turning the screw like that in the second half?
For me, I loved every moment of that. I know Berber won't be happy about it, but I mean, just the way they did it, I said in the first half, that giving Man United too many chances to try and close it down, which caused a lot of mistakes. In the second half, that Man United couldn't get near them. If you look at the second goal, it was just all in awe of it was one touch. Took a second touch when it was needed and just opened out the game. And that's how the second goal come. I think that Stonesy was, I don't even know how to explain how well Stones played. A lot of the times he was higher than Haaland in that game. And that was just causing Man United all sorts of problems. And it only got worse when I felt like Man United went to one holding midfielder.
You must have been in that situation. How horrible, how difficult is it when you're up against a team of such domination and control?
It's a nightmare. Berber's talking just for the strikers. When we used to play United and Scholesy used to be in there and you old 4-4-2 and they say, tuck in. By the time you get in, Scholesy's already kicked it back across to the other side of the pitch. So just running like that and running there. And then when you do get the chance to get the ball to go forward, your energy's gone. Yeah. It's depleted. And that is what Man United had to deal with just today.
Yeah. Their passing movements, particularly when they're 1 and 2-0 up, are just sensational because everyone's that comfortable on the ball. They're not afraid to give it to someone under pressure because he's got that much ability. But when you're not quite at it, as Manchester United weren't in the second half, they're popping off you, and you get there and it's just a split second too late. The ball's already gone, so you're then turning again to chase it, and it was total domination second half. Should have been more.
Let's go back to the first half and the awarding of the penalty and Haaland in this situation.
I think, as I said before, I think it was a penalty, in my opinion. And it's always difficult when a striker needs to go back and defend a set pieces. You hate that. I can speak from experience. I think I hate that all the time. I need to defend against someone that I know it's good in the air. And now I need to tackle him, to fight with him. And if you don't know how to do it, then you're going to make a mistake, like in this case. And I think, as I said before, it was a penalty.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's an error. It is a foul. I agree with it. There's no way I can argue that it's not a penalty. My only gripe would be that happens in a penalty box 2, 3, 4 times in most games. So, yeah, it's a blatant error, and the VAR is right to step in. But are we going to see more of that going forward now? Because that happens every single game.
And then when Erling Haaland steps up, as we've mentioned, he's only missed one in the Premier League from the spot. He's so reliable, isn't he, Sean?
It's the man you want on the ball for penalties. He's a very confident person. Missing doesn't bother him, and he dispatches this just with ease, really, and just enjoyed the moment. And I think from then onwards, it was pretty much almost an uphill battle for Man United.
Although I think he didn't look at the goalkeeper, though. He just chose an angle. That's what I can see from the video. And if Onana was going to the other side of the goal, maybe he was going to catch it, but he didn't. So it was 1-0, and after that, uphill battle, no chance.
You know, we were talking about before the game about the 2 team sheets, and I said that Man United team shouldn't get anywhere near that Man City team. Well, they never did, really. And they never really made it into a derby, into a scruffy match, because it was 80% of that game was total domination from an excellent Man City team.
And let's talk to one of those excellent players who constructed it today. Bernardo Silva is waiting to speak to us at Old Trafford. Bernardo, thanks for joining us. Well played, well done. How good does that feel, a really comprehensive away derby win?
Thank you very much. It feels great, because it's never easy to come here to Old Trafford and to beat this team and to beat them 3-0. I think the performance was very good from us today, one of the best over the last few years, especially away, so very happy.
Yep. In that second half in particular, when you had real control and you turned the screw?
Well, yeah, these games, we know what they want. Well, what they want is for us to lose our simple balls and to counter-attack, so the most important thing is to do a proper build-up and control the tempo of the game. Don't get the crowd very involved, because if you get this type of crowds in these big stadiums involved, it creates the moment for them, and we were perfect in that, keeping the crowd a bit quiet, controlling the game well, and then in the final third, waiting for the right moment to attack. And as I said, so happy with the 3 points and with the performance from the team.
Hi, Bernardo, Sean Wright-Phillips. Hi, Bernardo, Sean Wright-Phillips there. Just want to congratulate you. But also, I noticed that there was a lot of overloads, like the overlaps, running in behind from the centre midfield. Is it something you worked on through the week in training?
Yeah, definitely. Knowing that their fullbacks were going to be tight with Jack and Phil, making those movements, me and Julian, to try and give them the option of the pass in the pocket in between fullback and centre back, but also something or to cross the ball. So definitely something that we worked on, and it worked today. So very happy with, as I said, with how we dealt with the game, our energy as well, pressing, which I think we lacked a bit at the Arsenal game away. So to do that today was the key point as well.
Bernardo, hi, it's Alan Shearer. Just tell us about that second goal and the way it started from the goalkeeper. That's pretty much perfection, isn't it? It's what you work on every week in training.
Definitely, yeah. Slow build-up, attracting the opponent, and then when we find the space in behind their midfielders, attack quick. And it really worked. I'm watching now the goal, but not just the goal and a few chances that we missed. But yeah, as I said, the momentum that we created and the timings of our build-ups were brilliant. And we should have scored also a goal in the last minute of the first half, a similar one. And happy that we got that second goal in the beginning of the second half. That gave us a bit of the relief to then play a different game, more calm game, more controlled game. And I think it was a very good performance from us.
Bernardo, it's Dimitar Berbatov. Actually, I don't have any question. I just want to say congratulations to you. I remember when we played together in Monaco and how far you have come. Continue this way. I mean, you are great today.
Thank you, Dimitar. Great speaking to you. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Manchester City 1-0 up at half-time.